Well, by this great opportunity, let's begin these final presentations. And now let us listen to Indonesia Raya and Hymne Gajah Mada. Yes, thank you for listening. Well, now let us hear the welcoming remarks. So first, please welcome the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, Universitas Gajah Mada, Dr. Jamhari.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fitri. Good afternoon, students and colleagues. Here we arrive at the end of the virtual summer course on smart eco bioproduction agriculture. After the pre-course session and also 8 course meetings, so I would like to appreciate all the participants for your active participation so far, whether on ELOC UGM and at Zoom session. I hope that you learn something here about the agro ethno-agronomy, agroforestry, and then biodiversity, smart farming technology, biotechnology, and others. So I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the instructor, teaching assistant team for the organization and the hard work since the initiation up to this final presentation. And of course, to the steering committees for their guidance and direction. For the participants, wishing you the best of luck for your final presentation. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Jamhari. So our Dean gives us spirit to run this program very well. Well, moving right along, let's continue to our second remarks given by the head of Subdirectorate of Office of International Affairs, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Please welcome Dr. Imade Andi Arsana to open these final presentations.
Thank you very much, Ibu Dia, atas sambutannya. Pak Dekan, thank you very much for your speech, short but inspiring. That's first. Second, we would like to congratulate the Faculty of Agriculture, Pak Dekan, for organizing such a great event.
Thank you.
And also, we appreciate, even though this is pandemic, I know that this is not easy to do, but all the organizing committee, they are working really hard. We really appreciate that. And you managed to gather a lot of participants coming from different parts of the world. As Pak Dekan mentioned, the topic of this summer program is really timely and relevant because we are doing combination basically among different aspects and different field of disciplines. I myself come from geospatial science, so I think I'm quite familiar with smart farming, utilizing GIS, GPS, all of those kind of things. So I think this is actually a moment where different people from different disciplines can really meet and then collaborate to bring about good ideas for the prosperity of the people. So once again, I congratulate and also to everybody, the participant in particular. I congratulate you for the success of the event and also for the hard work that you have been doing. And also good luck with the final presentation that you are going to have. I hope everybody gain benefit and then that benefit will be useful for you in the future. Thank you very much. Matur nuwun.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Andi. It's really grateful to have you here, and we're thanks to you for your motivation and support for this program. Well, before moving to the final presentations for the students, let me politely remind you that there will be favorite presenters chosen through the voting. So don't forget to vote your favorite candidate by filling the link given on the chat room. Okay? And in each panel, we have two groups presenting their project. It will spend about 55 minutes, including 15 minutes for presentations and 25 minutes for discussions. You can also ask questions to them, of course. And in the last 5 minutes of the presentations, the host will give notes in the script to remind the participant. When the time for presentations is up, there will be a bell like this. Let us listen in to the bell. Yes, if the presenter hear the bell, so they should stop explaining. You will also hear the bell in the end of the time of discussions. It means that the moderator will also take over the sessions. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, here we have 3 students also as moderators. So the first one is Sally Anissa Dwianti from Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia. And the second, we have Hanifah Lutfi Alia from Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. And last but not least, we also have Aldaba Manikat Fernando Victor from University of Philippines, Diliman, Philippines. And for this first panel, the group 1 and group 5 will present a topic that is very interesting, that is about smart tech of modern agriculture. So I would like to invite the moderator, Sally, please.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dia, for the opportunity. So, hello, everyone. I'm Sally, who's going to be the first moderator for this panel. So, without further ado, we'll jump to the presentation from Group 1 about smart tech agriculture. So, for Group 1, the screen is yours.
Makanya, aku nungguin.
And a very good afternoon, I bid to all the. Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon, I bid to all the viewers around the world. My name is Adia Atira Adenan. I'm from University Putra Malaysia, and I'm representative of the Group 1 to present on the modernizations in agriculture. So this is my group member, which is Hanifa Lufi Alia from UGM, Wan Jinji from UPM, and Edita from NCHU. So what is the modernization in agriculture? Modernization in agriculture is known as a smart farming or precision agriculture. Is a cyclic optimization process where it's cover all the aspect of precision agriculture and can be categorized in 3 different categorization, which is the data acquisitions, data analysis, and evaluation. And the third one is the precision applications technology. Why we choose the smart technology? Because we want to aim to improve the agriculture productivity and resources. And the second one, we want to assist the farmers to in their crop producers, and it is a marketable, affordable, breathable, and time savings technology. Okay, in this study, we have two problem statement, which is the first one is the farmers, they do not have enough workers to work on their land and they are already old. And the second one, the farmer need to monitor their crop and soil condition but do not know how to check it efficiently. Next is this is an example of the smart technology that has been introduced in agriculture. The first one is the transplanter, second one is combine harvester, third one is rotavator, cloud computing, genetically modified organism, GMO, and the last one is drone technology. So in this study, we focus on the drone technology. Okay, what is the drone technology and what is the drone technology? Drone technology is formerly known as unmanned aerial vehicle or UAVs or unmanned aircraft system UAS. And drone is a flying robot that can be remotely controlled through software, control flight plans in their embedded system. It's a working in conjunction with onboard sensor and GPS. And drones are now widely applied in number of industry, which is constructions, infrastructure, and the agriculture. The research has been reported that the market for the agriculture drone has reaching about $1.3 billion. And agriculture is now the second largest industry after the construction in terms of drone adoptions. So what is the benefit or advantage of the drone technology? It may increase the overall agriculture production efficiency, and it can control over the weather, soil condition, temperature, and precipitations. And it may help the farmers to increase their crop yield and save time, reduce expense, and act with unparalleled accuracy and precision. Okay, so this is the farmers versus drone for the 5 different countries in the world, which is we cover on the German, China, Japan, Malaysia, and Indonesia as well. Okay, the first one, the farmer versus drone in Germany and China. in the Germany, factors that affects a farmer's adoption process of drone is the farmer's age, precision agriculture, technology literacy, and farm size. In China, it's very useful for every farmers in China who have a used land more than 50 acres. And then this is the example of the drone that used by Chinese farmer in agriculture productions. Okay, next, I will move to the drone technology in Indonesia. Drone technology is in Indonesia, they responding to the challenge of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is drone used for fertilizer and pesticide applications. And their Ministry of Agriculture plans to make a drone technology used as a rice seed deposit drone and pre-fertilizer distribution drones. Okay, so next I will move to the drone technology in Malaysia. In drone technology in Malaysia, there has been introduced in 3 different categories, which is infrastructure, transport, and agriculture. And I will focus on agriculture. They're used for the crop supervision, soil and field analysis, and health assessment. For the crop supervision, they monitor the crop productions, and for the soil and field analysis, they're able to check the soil and field and then they are for the health assessments. Okay, for the drone technology in Japan, the promising market for drones and drone expected to boost the agriculture, and it's a barrier for the full automations. Okay, we reach to the conclusions. Why we choose drone technology? Because it's a very helpful machines or technology, and it's a very useful machine or technology to the farmers to monitor their crop and to increase their productions, agriculture productions. And it's very efficiency in monitor and in doing their work very well. And then it can boost the productivity of the agriculture production as well. So I think that's all from the group 1, which is on the modernization in agriculture on smart technology of the drone technology. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 1, from the great insight about modernization in agriculture, especially the use of the drone. It was such a great presentation. Now we'll move on to the next presentation from Group 5, about modern agriculture. For Group 5, the screen is yours.
I'm sorry, Group 5, can you present the screen?
I think Raja is supposed to present, but Raja, are you here? But having problems in the connection, but if he's not here, I can present it immediately. Raja, hello? Oh, I would just present it for a while. I'm really sorry for the technical difficulty, but I would present it now. I'm just opening it.
Thank you.
Okay, I would just present it for a while. I think it's here now. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are from Group 5. We'd like to show you about our discussion, a feasibility study of agricultural photovoltaic for integrating solar energy and food production. Global agricultural land area per capita continued to decline during the period between 1961 until 2016 from around 0.45 hectares per capita in 1961 to 0.21 hectare per capita in 2016. Then conversion occurred to the housing, industrial, and urban needs. Changed land causes agricultural productivity to be not optimal. On the other hand, the development of cities, industrial areas, and settlements creates need for more energy sources. Vietnam has undergone remarkable development in recent decades. However, the country is facing major challenges in both the agricultural and energy sectors. In Vietnam, the agricultural production is dominated by smallholder farmers whose incomes are low compared to the regional average. Strong economic growth is also increasing energy demand, which is inherently dependent on full imports and a lack of renewable energy sources. Vietnam has high potential for solar energy development, but this may lead to potential land use conflicts with agricultural production. This project will focus the area in Mekong Delta, Canto, Vietnam. You can see the coordinate of the area in this picture. Mekong Delta, Canto has good condition as an agricultural area and also has a university that provides a center for agricultural studies in Vietnam. It is called as Canto University. The city of the government also wants to develop renewable energy sources, but the condition of agricultural land hinders this plan. So, based on the problem before, we'd like to show you about the project. The solution of the problem before is about agricultural photovoltaic. Solar dual use or agricultural photovoltaic or agri-PV is a system that combines power generation and agricultural production on the same land. This system or this concept has been shown to improve land use efficiency and household income. The aim of this study was to evaluate the potential of solar dual use in Mekong Delta, Vietnam. In this case, it's about Canto province, including technical application and suitable crops or aquaculture. So this is the implementation of agricultural photovoltaics or agri-PV in several countries, in France, in Japan, also in China.
In assessing the solar dual-use potential for Canto, we use 4 methodological steps. First, we identify the suitable crops and areas for solar dual-use applications based on international experience and the current state of agricultural production in the region. Second, we determine the performance parameters for solar dual-use systems based on international experience. Third, we calculate the solar dual-use potential based on assumptions and parameters using the GIS mapping. And last, we estimate the benefits of the system for farmers and government based on international experience.
Now we move on to the results. The sustainable growth for the solar dual use in Vietnam. Stress-tolerant growth is considered suitable for the solar dual use. Therefore, the crop like coffee, green tea, soybean, salads, spinach as totally fit with the system. However, it has been shown that some of the crops originally classified as stress sensitive are also suitable for solar dual use, provided that the correct stress ratio is maintained. Therefore, the crop in the list are considered as a potential suitable for the solar dual use in Vietnam, which can be developed based on various research work. The solar dual use is also suitable to apply in aquaculture and livestock production. For the suitable land area, since the rice cultivation dominates the region in both monoculture and rotation with the upland crop or aquaculture, rice is considered as a special focus in the case study. Although international experience on rice is still limited, it is assumed that most rice growing areas in the region are generally suitable for the solar dual use. As you can see in the picture that shows an example of the solar dual use on paddy rice in a project in Japan. For the energy potential, to evaluate the energy potential of the system in the regions, two scenarios was used to calculate solar dual use potential under low and high power density. The energy potential varies among regions depending on the solar radiation. However, the scenario shows us with rice growing area, the solar dual use potential of between 7,500 and 11,300 megawatts could be realistic. To put this into perspective, the targets for the solar energy development in the current plan of the government is 12,000 megawatts until 2030. So the real in the scenario is in line with the government plan.
So what are the benefits of solar dual-use photovoltaics in our agricultural system? First, for our farmers, it would allow energy saving as they decrease their dependence on the consumption of national energy sources, especially non-renewable ones. And as the rate of consumption decreases, this also leads to the saving of funds for agriculture. This would also provide additional income as their generated power can be distributed to different sectors such as villages around the farms. And when it is applied to aquaculture, it allows better control of temperature, reduced water evaporation, and the limited growth of algae, which is very vital in our agriculture system. And next is in agriculture, some crops benefit from the additional shading, which would lead to a higher yield, but also some will have minor reductions in yield, but these can be compensated by additional revenues from the solar generation. And lastly, for business marketing and improve competitiveness of products, since it would meet the demands of sustainable supply chains, especially in exports market, and this would market the entire agriculture system as a sustainable system in terms of production. Now, what are the benefits for our government? First, it would reduce the conflicts on land use as it allows the dual use of land, diminishing the problem on land use and effectively utilizing the land at its maximum potential. Also, it would allow additional income for the farmers with potentially higher investments and tax revenues as the farmers dwell on the energy sector compared before where they only deal with the agriculture sector, and this would also affect the economy in general. And also the reduction of energy demand from the agriculture and aquacultural sector, since the solar dual use would allow the agricultural sector and aquacultural sector independence in terms of energy. And also, it would reduce the CO2 emissions and hazardous local emissions from conventional thermal power plants, since the solar dual use is a renewable energy source and it doesn't release CO2 and hazardous emissions, and it is sustainable in the long term. And lastly, we develop a more competitive, sustainable agricultural sector for domestic and export markets, which would help the economy in the long term.
In conclusion, this system is a combination of agricultural production and energy generation that provides a viable option for Vietnam, avoiding or reducing land use conflicts associated with the increasing influx of solar energy investment and associated pressures on landowners. Thus, this system significantly increases the overall productivity of the land use on the same area of land. Moreover, international experience and best practice shows that the cost of photovoltaic technology has dropped dramatically, opening up high potential for widespread application of solar dual use in the country. Hence, this system provides multiple socio-economic benefits among the farmers and the city itself. These are the list of references for this case study report. And that brings us to the end. I would like to thank you for your interest and attention.
Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 5, for your presentation and insight about modern agriculture, especially about solar dual use. So next, we'll move on to the question and answer session. So please, everyone, for who have questions for group 1 or 5. Okay, now we already got our first question. It's from Arini UGM. It is addressed to group 1 and 5. A question to both of your groups. What are some strategies to deliver this smart tech to small-scale farmers? They are usually lack of capital despite the lower price of solar panel nowadays. Okay, maybe group 1 or 5 wanna answer this first?
I think I could give some answer. I'm Andre Magpantay. I am from Group 5. We are the ones who made us the case study about the solar dual use, and it's actually a little bit of a hard of a question because the solar dual use was actually an investigation by the government, and how to bring the technology to small scale farmers. I think the strategies that we need to employ first is to we need to let them know about this system, since, for example, in my country, the Philippines, it's still far-fetched to treat it as something that is immediately possible. But I think in my case, the first step that I would do, since I worked with farmers before, is that I first introduced the technology to them and the opportunity that it could give them. And the second is to examine the possibilities of actually integrating the technology from finding capital to start it, because it's also a business, and then to getting support from different sectors, such as the different departments, government departments, or other sectors. That's, I think, is my answer in strategies.
Okay, thank you, Group 5, for your answer. Maybe from Group 1. Okay.
Hello, teacher. I have read in the script that my question is about a large amount of the agricultural capital and the agricultural science and technology project. So it didn't have so much money to buy the smart technologies. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
May I follow up on that, Shelley?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So this is for Mr. Wang. Actually, that might be the case for either Malaysia or China or both, that a large amount of agricultural capital enters the agricultural science and technology project, but not the case in Indonesia. So I'm not sure what are some strategies, like is there any other maybe things that your groups might like to offer in this case, in case there is no foreign capital or the government capital, especially now where the government is, like the government budget is allocated mostly for the pandemic.
Dear teacher, if the money, all of the money from the government, I think it will be not sustainable.
Yes.
Yeah, as we all know, the government although have much money, but she should spend all the ways. But if the agricultural capitals hidden for him or for she just to earn money in after 5 years or 10 years, although they can earn not so much money, but in the long run way, I think it is very useful, because in our city, Ningbo, China, there are many so much capital, agricultural capital entering to the smarter technology.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question and answers. Now we'll move on to the second question. It's from Miss Annie UGM for both group 1 and 5. How we could apply smart tech you proposed in presentation. Based on what Prof. Iin said that smart tech agriculture is specific site, what are the requirements we could apply your technology? Please, group 1 and 5, who wants to be the first to answer?
Hello, teacher. May I have a try?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we have to okay. I don't know how to pronounce. Maybe I can type in the in code. Okay.
Or maybe group 5 wanna answer this first?
Yes, maybe I can answer this question.
Okay,
Sorry,
sure.
I cannot turn on my camera and the internet is not stable. But from my side, the first requirement to apply the high tech in agriculture is the investment from the government, because for the problem that for the high tech or the modern agriculture normally require the high investment at the beginning, but for small household, for the farmer, it may be a problem for the finance. So we need the investment from the government. And the second thing, I think that it should be the support from the government or at least for agriculture extension for the system. It also needs some special skill or knowledge. So the farmer, the government or some organization should organize some training for the farmer before give them the technique or. And the third, I think that it also requires the train
in the policy to support the farmer and stimulate them to apply high technology in production. Yeah. That's some from my idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Group 5. So here's the answer from Group 1. The government will regularly organize agriculture cooperatives to train these farmers. So to Ms. Annie, do you want to have some follow-up on these answers?
Have Group 1 answered about this?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Ms. Annie. Are you saying you want to have a follow-up or not?
I think I heard from Group 5 has answered about the question about the specific side of technology and smart tech, but I haven't listened from the Group 1 how the about the technology you propose. Can you use the technology for everywhere, or there are specific requirements that you can use the drone technology in agriculture?
Okay, thank you. So Group 1, it seems like you haven't answered the last question about the requirements about the technology applying.
Hello, Sally.
Oh, yeah.
I will answer for that question.
Okay,
For the first requirement, we could apply to a place that still have a large land or a field, because the capacity of the drone is around 1 acres. So if the land is very small, I guess it doesn't fit in. And then the second is we know that actually in Indonesia, there's a farmer and peasant, so they are a little bit different. So it's for the smart technology, it's more fit in for farmers than a peasant, because farmers, we know that they could have more money to buy drone or to know more about the smart technology. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we'll move on to the third question. It's from Muhammad Idam Khalid from UGM. The question is, how big is the chance for small farmers to adopt smart technology agriculture? Is there still a chance for them? Because most smart technology agriculture is now dominated by big farmers or companies. If there are opportunities, what technology is suitable for them? I would like to listen to your team opinion. Thank you. So maybe it's for both Group 1 and 5. So who wants to answer it first?
I will answer for the Group
Okay,
1.
sure.
I think there is a big chance for the small farmer to adopt the smart technology in agriculture, which is for certain country, they allocate for the small farmer to use the technology as like Malaysia, they make IR 4.0 to introduce to the farmer to use the technology in order to reach their plan, which is IR 4.0. And in Malaysia, they use drone technology to spread the fertilizer to the crops. Yeah, I think the government has allocate for the farmers. Yeah, I think that's my opinion. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you from Group 1. Maybe from Group 5.
Yes, maybe I can continue with this
Okay, sure.
answer. I don't know from the other country, but in my country, in Vietnam, Yeah, we have a lot of small farmer with the farm is really small, and income is also very little from agriculture production. So I mentioned before that the investment is the big challenge for the farmer. However, nowadays in Vietnam, the government does support the farmer to develop and the cooperative. It means that we organize the farmer in the group so they can produce the same product, the same crop or the same animal. So it's very easy way for the for
Okay, so it seems there's signal problems. Okay, maybe there's addition from group 1 from Wang Jingjing. Small farms can join the agriculture cooperatives of large farms, and small farms can buy shares with land resources, which can solve the problem. Okay, thank you. So maybe for Idam, do you want to have follow up on these answers?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So maybe, is there any other questions from you guys for group 1 and 5? Okay, it seems like there's no more questions. I will close this question and answer sessions. Thank you everyone for the discussion and question and answers. So we'll back to Ms. Dia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 1 and Group 5. That's very, very interesting. Okay, before going on to the next sessions, unfortunately, because not all of the audiences can join this final presentation till the end, so there is a request to make a short explanations of all of the materials from Group 1 until Group 6. Okay, so we have arranged it in a short video to know the points of the materials itself. So you can prepare your questions since now. For group 5, for group 4, group 2, even for group 3 and also group 6 as well. So hopefully the next discussions will be more active and also will be more on fire. And the other groups may also give questions, okay? So let's enjoy our short video for our refreshing right now.
sc-soba 2021. Woo! Do you want to know the group members and the topics? Let's go!
We are from Group 1. Hi, I'm Hanifah Lutfi from Universitas Gajah Mada. I am the leader of this group.
I'm Adia from University Putra Malaysia, UPM.
Hi, I'm Wang Jingjing.
Our theme is about smart technology on agriculture.
Later, we will explain about one technology that is useful for agriculture.
Can you guess what technology is it?
If you want to know the answer, comment.
Join
us.
us on our final project in sc-soba 2021.
Hi, I'm Ronald John Amano from the University of the Philippines.
Hi, I'm Bagas from Yamagata University, Japan.
Hi, I'm Nana Toyama from Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, Japan.
Hi, I'm Lolo from Universitas Gajah Mada, Indonesia.
Hi guys, do you know that rice fish co-culture system, as known as Mina Padi, is an efficient way of using the same land resource to produce both carbohydrate and animal protein?
To add, Mina Padi system helps to preserve a diversified rice field biota by reducing the need to use chemicals for soil management.
It can be found out that diverse array of species habitat can be seen in rice fields implemented with integrated farming.
If you want to learn more about how biodiversity can be improved through Mina Padi, join us on August 20 for a case study presentation. See you!
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Pui. I'm Sally. I'm Tantri.
This is Ninja. Okay, thank you for joining us. We would like to introduce you soil and water conservation in Burkina Faso, West Africa.
65% of agricultural land in Africa is degraded due to the soil erosion and further processes such as chemical and physical soil degradations.
It is mostly caused by physiographic factors such as harsh climatic conditions and the unstable structure of soil, but also by socioeconomic factors such as increased pressure on the land resources.
Here is the implementation of half moons in Burkina Faso, Africa. Half moons were introduced by the Environmental Service of Burkina Faso in 1958.
Half moons are semi-open mechanical structures with the shape of half circles that collect and hold runoff water, leading to the soil infiltration improvement.
Please come to our presentation on Friday, 20 August on sc-soba 2021. See you!
See you!
Hello, my name is Muhammad Idham Khalid. I'm from group number 4. On this video, I would like to give an introduction about what topic that we will share to you all in our final project is. Our project is about integrated farming system. So we took agroforestry as a main topic that we focus on. We believe that agroforestry is a great option to combat soil degradation, adapt to climate change, and foster food security in nowadays and the future. In our presentation with you all, we will learn together about the ecological benefits that can be provided by alley cropping, which is the popular one of agroforestry system. And then we have study case in Philippines that hopefully can complete our understanding of this topic. So don't forget, on Friday 20 August 2021, join us at final presentation event at sc-soba 2021. Thank you and see you soon.
This is Amado Cortez from National Chongqing University, Taiwan. Please vote and support Group 5 in the sc-soba 2021. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andre Omagpantay. I am from the University of the Philippines. Please support us in our presentation for the sc-soba this August 19.
Hi, my name is Dui Huanghu from University of Bornholm, Germany.
support us to be the best presenter at sc-soba 2021.
Hi, I'm Raja from Universitas Sriwijaya, Indonesia. Vote us and support us to be the best presenter on sc-soba 2021.
Hello, I'm Waki from University Putra Malaysia. Do support us, Group 5, as the best presenter in sc-soba 2021.
Hi, my name is Rifa. I'm from Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Juwon from Jeonnam National University, South Korea.
¿Cómo está? Ako si Sid mula sa University of Batangas, Philippines.
Hi, I am Gilmore Baltes from Isabela, Philippines.
Hi, my name is Jackson from Universitas Mula Warman, Indonesia.
I am Christopher Van de Ita from the Philippines.
Hello everyone, we are from Group 6 and we will talk about farmers' climate change perceptions and adaptation strategies in selected Asian countries. Our group members are Teita, Sid, Rekmi, Rifa, Ji, Jowon, and Jackson.
असार 15 मा रोपाई सुरु हुन्थ्यो अहिले पानी नपरेकोले रोपाई गर्ने समय थाहा छैन
Dati-dati nakakapanghuli pa ng isda sa tabing dagat, wala pang isang minuto at hindi na rin kinakailangan pang pumalaot. Pero ngayon ang mga isda nasa gitna na ng dagat kung saan mas malamig ang tubig.
Perubahan iklim meningkatkan risiko kebakaran hutan.
기후위기가 초래한 찜통더위로 8월 3일 기준 한국에서 약 30만 마리의 가축이 폐사했습니다.
These are just some of the examples that affected farmers' perception on climate change and motivated different stakeholders to develop different adaptive measures and capacity as a response.
Do you want to know how these adaptive capacity factors being implemented by the farmers? Our group will further talk about this, so we hope to follow our project. See you!
All right, how? You're getting friends, aren't you? So for the audience on YouTube who cannot join these final presentations from the beginning, and for you who cannot join us till the end, don't worry. We hope you will be able to get the main topics of each group explanations from the video. So please don't forget to vote them as you wish, okay? And well, this is the panel 2 for group 4 and also group 2. So group 4 will present the topic of integrated farming system. And group 2 also has an interesting topic about Minapadi system. So I would like to invite Hanifa. The time is yours.
Hello, Ms. Dia. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second panel session. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Hanifa Lutfi. I'm from UGM, and I'll be responsible to be the moderator for Group 2 and Group 4. We'd love to hear from you about some question and Q&A session later. So don't forget to ask as many as you can. And for now, for Group 2, the time is yours.
So for a while, we'll just ask Nana to screen share. So, okay, thank you very much.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ronald, and with me are Lulu, Bagas, and Nana. And we are here to present our topic, improving biodiversity in rice paddy field through integrated rice fish farming system. Next, please. So the necessity for producing food has led humans to pursue farming practices that can ensure high farmer yield and profit. However, the attainment of the goal has not considered the harmful effects of the conventional practices to biodiversity. Farmers are still practicing monocropping and excessive use of synthetic inputs, which decrease biodiversity in rice fields. Our group's aim, so next please, is to introduce Mina paddy and its benefit, specifically assess its ecological, economic, and social effects, and conduct a comparative assessment between monoculture and Mina paddy. Next, please. Next, please. So here in our framework, next, please. Mina paddy serve as an avenue in the interplay among the various components of the farming systems, which facilitates the cycling of nutrients, improve biofertility, and can contribute then to agricultural productivity and profitability. This system is environment friendly and holds biodiversity laws in the area. The study started with the definition of the research objective. The case study then focused on obtaining secondary data from relevant journal literatures, and the data obtained were then processed and analyzed to develop the study and present output in line with the goals, objectives of the study.
Mina paddy, the rice fish co-culture system, is an efficient way of using the same land resource to produce both carbohydrates and animal protein, either concurrently or in sequence. It helps to preserve a diversified rice field by water by reducing the need to use chemicals for pest management. It can be found that a diverse array of species habitat can be seen in rice fields implemented with integrated farming systems. The earlier literature states that the culture of integrated fish in rice fields has existed since the mid-19th century. Many Asian countries have been practicing Mina paddy, such as Indonesia, China, Bangladesh, Korea, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. The technology of integrated fish and rice fields in Indonesia can be categorized to five types, such as fish along with rice paddy, RCF, fish cultivated after paddy has been harvested, ROTF, fish cultivated during the paddy nursery period, SEQF, fish cultivated during paddy nurseries and grown up with paddy until paddy harvested, SEQF, RCF, and fish grown up with paddy twice as long as paddy is not harvested, RCF to STCK. RCF, SEQF, RCF, and RCF to STCK are considered Mina paddy practices. This consideration is based on the continued nurturing of fish in the paddy planting process. Rice fields can serve as a suitable site for fish culture as long as there is water in it. However, conventional rice fields are designed for rice and therefore the conditions are not optimized for fish. Thus, raising fish in a rice field requires several physical modifications for fish habitation. Before starting Mina paddy, conventional rice fields must be physically modified. The modifications are aimed at providing more space and deeper water for fish while minimizing negative effects on rice plants. The main modifications include the following aspects: high-reach water inlets and outlets, trenches and or ponds, rice variety, and fish variety. There are many different possible designs of trenches and ponds. Generally, peripheral trenches can be wider than circular ones. Ponds are usually surrounded by bricks, stones, or other hard materials and set in the center of the field or near the water inlet. All trenches and ponds in a field should be connected. In practice, the design of trenches and ponds should consider the area and the shape of the field. Trenches and ponds can also be used to concentrate fish for temporary storage and harvest. Although trenches and ponds differently reduce the feed area available for rice cultivation with a good spatial arrangement and a low area ratio, they will not reduce rice yield because of the edge effect and the positive effects of fish on rice growth. We suggest that the total area of trenches and ponds should not be more than 10% of the field area. These pictures are Minapadi procedures: preparation, rice planting, fish stocking, fish feedings, rice fertilization, pest and disease control, water management, and harvest.
Okay, now I'd like to explain the significant Manipadi system, focusing on the ecological and socio-economic benefits. The first one is ecological benefits. The Minapadi system is an efficient way to produce more food in the same land, mainly attributed to the positive system function and ecological benefit. At least there are 4 benefits. The first one is improving resource use efficiency. Minapadi system produce more than one commodity in the same area, which is improving productivity and saving an extra demand for land and water. The diverse trophic level in the system provides a closed loop of nutrient, reducing the loss of nutrient and restoring soil fertility. And second, improving biodiversity. According to Herlambang et al. 2020, Minapadi water sediment consists of various bacteria with different phylum and genus level. They found several bacteria which could potentially contribute to the biological cycle. And in particular, Sorangium, it contributes to organic matters degradation. Metalophilus contributes to nitrification. Novosphingobium and Methylotenera contributes to denitrification. And Desoltubaca contributes to sulfur. Based on Harma 2006, fish in the Minapadi system contribute to control the rice pests such as snail, stem borers, and caseworms. Some of fish also feed on the weeds and other insects, which reduce the potential pest problem and pesticide utilization. And fourth is reducing non-point of source pollution. From the second and third point explanation, we may realize that the Minapadi system can reduce fertilizer and pesticides, which could be the source of pollution. Next, please. Then the second one is socio-economic benefits. Even though the Minapadi system requires a great investment than rice monocropping, the system can deliver high net returns to the farmer. Minapadi system significantly improve economic performance and has social benefits. First, higher rice productivity. A review showed that the Minapadi system increased rice yield up to 5% in most cases. Second, additional outputs of fish. Adding fish is the main reason of increasing the economic profits because its market price is usually 5 to 15 times higher than rice. And third, marketing and certification possibility. The Minapadi system can reduce or even eliminate chemical inputs, making the products eligible for high-quality organic certification, especially organic farming. This leads to new marketing possibility of rice and fish products and higher price than conventional. And fourth, sustaining rice production. The Minapadi system can increase rice productivity and has better economic performance than rice monocropping, which stimulates farmers' enthusiasm for farming and keeping for a long time. And fifth, providing healthy and safe food. As I explained before, the Minapadi system can reduce or even eliminate chemical input. Its products can be considered as healthy food and helps satisfy the urgent demand for healthy and safe food in the market system. And the last, boosting rural economic development. One of the direct benefits of Minapadi is increasing farmer income. This system will draw more capital and labor back into rural development and thus improve rural employment and help address challenge of rural labor shortage. Next. And this is the summarized figure about Minapadi system benefit. It can make a closed loop nutrients and help control the pests, and which is reduce the chemical inputs. It also can open new market possibility, especially organic farming, and boost rural economic development.
Okay, next. As previously explained, Minapadi system can increase biodiversity, especially in the rice belt. But can this system be said to be sustainable farming with that enhancement? To know that, an agricultural system requires some analysis, especially agroecosystem analysis. It means to find out and calculate the estimate amount of energy and biomass of inputs, also output, for 1 year land utilization. Don't forget, you also have to continue with an economic analysis to find out whether in one season of farming when this system are applied can provide decent or feasible benefits. Lastly, in order to find out both differences, you can make a comparison from both result which is carried out from the analysis then evaluate whether Minapadi is better than monocropping. Next. To know Minapadi sustainability, I took a case study in Purwanegara village, Banjarnegara district, Central Java province, Indonesia. It is my own hometown. I conducted an interview with a farmer. His name is Mr. Supran, who has been applying Minapadi since 2010. Next. The following table shows that there are similarities and differences in total amount, energy, and percentage from input items from both system. Compost gives the highest contribution to both system, which monocropping is higher at 86.43% than Minapadi, just at 69.26%. Then for rice seed, the highest is monocropping than Minapadi, where Minapadi is 0.04% lower than monocropping. Minapadi has more input items than monocropping, so the total amount of energy in Minapadi system can be higher than monocropping. Next. After knowing the amount of input energy, we can find out how much the amount of renewable and non-renewable energy. It can be seen in this pie chart that Minapadi contribute more renewable energy, which is above 200,000 megajoule per hectare, compared to monocropping, which is around 160,000 megajoule per hectare. In contrast, monocropping contribute a higher proportion of non-renewable energy than Minapadi. They are at 4.03% and 2.07% respectively. Next. The following table shows the total amount of energy and percentage from output items for both systems. Minapadi has one more main product than monocropping. It is fish. So that the amount of energy produced in Minapadi is higher than monocropping. Rice grains contribute the largest proportion to each system. But in contrast to the lowest proportion, where in Minapadi is contributed by fish and in monocropping is contributed by rice straws. Next. After knowing the total of energy in each system, it can be used to evaluate energy stability through the following categories as shown in this table. From the following data, it can be seen that monocropping is more efficient than Minapadi, like because of the amount of labor, especially for farming activities. Monocropping needs less labor than Minapadi. Minapadi requires more labor for fish stocking and fish harvest. However, when we view from the amount of net energy, Minapadi can contribute a larger amount because the system has two main products, fish and rice. Next, the total box, the green box from the for the higher symbol and the yellow box for the lower symbol. Minapadi has higher total cost than monocropping. It contributes to the earned income where Minapadi is higher than monocropping. In Minapadi, fish can contribute more income than the sales of rice components such as rice grain, rice straws, and rice bran. This can affect the number of farmer income per one planting season when the system is applied. Actually, Minapadi can give higher farmer income than monocropping. Therefore, the return and benefit cost ratio of Minapadi can be studied as more decent than monocropping in the rice belt field. Next. To conclude, there are three main points of view about Minapadi. First, that Minapadi can be set as one of efficient agricultural resource uses that can increase biodiversity in rice field. Second, Minapadi can reduce the environmental impact through the fewer chemical uses than monocropping, which is better for soil management. Third, from agro-ecosystem and economic analysis, Minapadi is designed and sustainable. Therefore, the system can be a supporting farming reference, especially for rural development. Next. If you are still curious about Minapadi or rice fish farming in paddy fields, here are some references from some books and journal which can be accessed through digital platform or maybe can copy paste the title in Google. Next. That's all the presentation from our group about Minapadi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Group 2, for the great presentation. Now we move to Group 4. All right, Group 4, the time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon everyone, good morning, and wherever you are, I hope you have a really nice day. Today we are from group 4. We consist of 3 members, which is Muhammad Idam Khalid from Indonesia, me, Vijay Hidayati from Indonesia, and Fernando Victor from Philippines. Our presentation is about integrated farming system, and specifically we choose allied cropping for climate change and mitigation and adaptation as our focus. Next. So in this presentation, we separate into 5 parts. First is background and introduction to integrated farming system globally, and then agroforestry as part of integrated farming system, like cropping for climate mitigation and adaptation, and conclusion. Next. Okay. As we know, now the world population is high, and then the UN, the United Nations, is projected the world population to reach 8.5 billion in 2030, and to increase further to 9.7 billion in 2050, and then 11.2 billion by the 2100. And this problem, or overpopulation problems, leads to increased demand for food, but the production worsened by the climate change, which affected agricultural activity through land degradation. And if this practice continues, it will threaten the biodiversity, the ecosystem, and the implication of those things is low productivity, which means we can suffer from food security. Even hunger can occur in various parts of the world, such as in Africa. Next. This land degradation, and then severe growth. Okay, we here to presenting about integrated farming system as a solution for those problems. Integrated farming system works well in heterogeneous setting when different parts of the landscape are better suited to different types of enterprises, and is dynamically approach which can be applied to any farming system around the world, and it involves attention to details and continued improvement in all areas of a farming business through informed management process. And through the system, ecological intensification, circular economic, and at the end, the sustainability can achieve. Next. Integrated farming system is a combination of different agricultural activities in a unit area of land, which aims at first maximizing returns from the unit area, second, maintaining soil status and fertility, third, utilizing the byproduct of one component of the farming system as an input in other for ensuring supplementary and complementary enterprise relationship, and then the last is reducing environment pollution. As we can see in the left side, the picture, we can imagine that the cultivation area, we can cultivate it with crops such as paddy, corn, sorghum, or wheat, or the other crops. And then if we harvest the grain, and then we can get the byproduct, which is the grain biomass. And the green biomass, we can use it for the grain fodder from livestock. The livestock also can produce manure, which farmers can use it or can process it, become compost or vermicompost, and then it become input into the other enterprises, such as become organic fertilizers. So in IFA system is really maintaining the byproduct. Next. In this picture, we can see that integrated farming system is integrate many aspects of ecological areas such as forest management and then community organization, sustainable agriculture, and then sustainable agriculture and productive reconversion, irrigation infrastructure, agroforestry, silvopastoral, soil restoration works, conservation area, and then reforestation. And for this presentation, we focus on agroforestry, especially in alley cropping. Next. Please, Mr. Idam, to present the discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wirujeng. Next. Okay, firstly, to refresh our knowledge about agroforestry material that held at our previous meeting, through this picture, I suggest all of us to remember how agroforestry has many benefits in ecosystem, especially in our agroecosystem. If you compare it with conventional agriculture. But did you know that agroforestry can actually be classified by many methods? One of them is classification method based on spatial arrangement. We can see from this slide. There are some type of agroforestry system based on spatial arrangement that are known and applied by many farmers in the world. There are 3 long border, random mixture, alternate row, and alley cropping. But on this occasion, we will focus more on discussing what alley cropping is, why it is important, and so on. Together, we will deepen our understanding on this topic. Next. So what is alley cropping? According to USDA, alley cropping is defined as the planting of row of tree and or shrubs to create alley within which agriculture or horticultural crops are produced. So in general, there are several forms of tree arrangement in alley cropping. There are triple row, double row, and single row. For triple row, you can see in this picture, evergreen or shrub in the outer rows with a deciduous tree in the middle row. So with this design, we can assume that on the same field, the sustainable production of food and biomass is possible, especially in marginal areas. Why? Next. Because the ecological function of the landscape can be improved. And then the next question is, how is that possible? How we know that this statement is valid or correct? On the next slide, we try to answer this question. On the next slide, we try to provide an overview of the different ecological benefit arising from alley cropping system. Next. So the first is about microclimate. You can see the first study have shown that the microclimatic change in alley cropping can have benefit for cultivated agriculture crops. So alley cropping simply is known to modify microclimatic parameters. As you can see on the slide, this picture is about the schematic of microclimatic and competitive effect of alley cropping dependent space between hedgerows. As you can see, the closer spacing between hedgerows, the more it increases the positive effect of reduction of wind speed, reduction soil evaporation, more balanced humidity, and more evenly distribution of snow. But we also cannot deny that the closer spacing between the hedgerows, the more negative effect that include delay snow melt, shedding of crops, and interspecific competition. At first, I asked why delay snow melt can give a negative effect. After I searched, the answer is because it will affect plant physiology that crop we grow, such as losing of freezing tolerance, increasing consequence fish demand and reducing reproductive success. So generally, the intensity of microclimatic as well as competitive effect of head growth within allied cropping system is strongly dependent on the space between the individual row of hedges. Next. This is about allied cropping for climate change mitigation. So on this picture, you can see it's about traditional allied cropping. Move on to or enhance their biodiversity. So there are many benefits, and beside what is already in the picture, according World's research, that meta-analysis of 14 studies of forest plantation found significantly biomass accumulation in multi-species higher than single-species plantation. And in addition to climate change mitigation, allied cropping can help adapt agriculture to climate change. As we know that more volatile and extreme weather patterns predicted with climate change are expected to have direct impact on agriculture management and productivity. Connecting what we have learned from previous slide, allied cropping can buffer the effect of weather extreme by protecting crop from wind stress, stabilizing air and soil temperature, increasing soil water, and then reducing evaporation of soil matter, soil moisture. Next. Okay. The next point is about nutrient cycle. I will make quick. On table 1, we can see that the higher biomass export for 9 years old tree, in this case black locust, compared to 3 years old tree, indicate that the total nutrient export increase with rotation period. On table 2, we can also see the same patterns as well as on table 1 in nutrient use efficiency for black locust. Although 9 years old plants are better, the other thing is that these two plants of different age have the same benefit for improving, utilizing, and recycling of soil nutrient. On this slide, you can see there are 3 main reasons how it could happen. Next. Okay. The third is about soil health. As you can see on this slide, we took this journal because we think it's related to enrich our insight about allied cropping based on the research that published by Muchane et al. 2020. So through their research, they quantify the contribution of agroforestry practice to soil mediated ecosystem service, especially regulation of soil erosion, storage of soil organic carbon, nitrogen, availability of soil N and phosphorus. As a result, the analysis demonstrate that agroforestry can reduce soil erosion rate by 50%, soil organic carbon by 11%, by 21%, and storage by 13, available N by 46, available P by 11, while soil pH increased by 2%. So they conclude that agroforestry can make significant contribution to provision of soil mediated ecosystem service in humid and subhumid tropics. Next. This is the potential tree. There are some potential tree that can use the type of tree varies from geographic region and available market that are present. So you can see there are walnut, pica, chestnut, and etc. For tropical season, we can use tree like papaya and then coffee and so on. Next. And this is about potential for shrub. You can see there are fruit and nuts and decorative flowers. Next.
I'm sorry that I have to stop you. It was a great presentation, but unfortunately the time is already up. I'm sorry, group 4. Now we will move to Q&A session. Here we already have some questions directed to group 2. The first question is from Miss Arini. Allow me to read it for you. The question is, she's wonder, in this time of more frequent and severe drought, would or should the Minapadi be modified to be more water efficient? Please, group 2, you can answer the question accordingly.
Oh, keren sih Hanifah.
Thank you very much. I'm Ronald from Group 2. So for the first question, I can also be helped by other of my group mates, so I'll start first by answering. So for the question of Mrs. Arini, a severe drought is crucial matter for the system. Well, we all know that water is very important for rice fish farming system. So if there is drought, I believe we can probably use designs that can be more compatible to, or I mean applicable for the use of rice species or rice varieties that are tolerant to drought or severe drought, or we can also use fish species that can also thrive on problems with climate change or with drought, such as catfish. So if you can also use rain collector as an alternative if groundwater is no longer available. To add, I guess, Lulu, do you have addition to that? Or none? Okay. So that is our answer to the first question. Well, actually, we have also the different designs. You can choose from there, from what we have presented earlier.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lamano. What do you think, Ms. Arini? Is it clear enough? Well, now we move to the second question. It's from Aura. You state that the Minapadi can reduce the source of pollution, like fertilizer. What do you think about the impact of the system on the climate change? Will it improve or at least minimize the negative impact of climate change, such as greenhouse gases?
Okay, so to answer that, we all know that agriculture is one of the contributors of climate change due to greenhouse gas emissions. So, well, if we have biodiversity, if we have rice fish integrated farming system, so there is less monocropping system or practice. If we will not use or will not practice monocropping, then there will be less use of synthetic fertilizers and chemicals that cause greenhouse gas emission. So this can be methane, ammonia, carbon, and there will be no leaching which affects groundwater and soil fertility. So through rice fish farming system, so fish outputs become input to rice production, as mentioned earlier in our presentation. So fish helps in nutrient cycling. So they're actually biological contributors to the production. And if rice fish farming can also will be implemented, then there is a shift from the diet of the consumers. We all know that those that are produced, and let's say the livestock production or the livestock sector is one of the contributors of greenhouse gas emissions such as methane. So if there is a shift from the consumption of meat to rice or plants or fish, then we can probably have a minimal effect to the climate change. Minimal contribution to climate change rather. So that is our answer to that question.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Lamano. And next is the third question. It's from Syukur. It's from JM2. The question is Minapadi system can be applied in all area, especially in hilly area? And then to the maintain to the productivity of Minapadi, is there have any specific requirement for paddy or fish variety? And for the fish variety is also same with
number 4.
Miss Dui Huang Fu for the number 1. Is it any
maybe I can try answer the number 3 from Super and Mr. Number 4. Yes.
Yes, please, Miss Lulu.
Yes. Okay. The Minapadi system can be applied in all area, especially in hilly area. Yes. The system can be applied in all area, in plain or hilly area. I took a case study in China based on FAO book, especially explain about the successful example of rice fish culture in hilly area in the Qingtian country of Xinjiang province in southern China. Minapadi or rice fish culture has been applied, but maybe it took more specific on design because in hilly area the ground is unflat. You can choose a terracing combined with the all design that we have explained before, like that. And then the next question is to maintain the productivity. Is there more specific requirement on rice and variety? Yes, it has a more specific rice variety and fish variety. First one is rice variety, raising the fish charge in the biocommodity and nutrient cycling of rice field. Thus, a compatible rice variety should be selected. As in Indonesia, farmers choose IR64 or Inpari or other local variety in Indonesia. And then, because the variety should be based on the following traits. The first one is tolerance to locking that might be caused by fish activity and a high water level. And the second is tolerant to high fertility. This is often caused by intensive fish culture. Example is high fish density with high feed input. And then the third one is resistant to pests, so the pesticide can be reduced or even eliminated. And for the fish variety, especially the most sustainable species of fish possess the following have two traits. The first one is tolerant to harsh environmental. Compared with fish pond, rice fields are characterized by shallow water, great variation in turbidity, as well as extensive fluctuation in temperature, pH, it means the acid level, and then a dissolved oxygen. Fish tolerant to this harsh environment will increase the survival rate. And then the second matter is short culture cycle. Fast-growing fish are able to attain the marketable size by the time of rice harvest, especially in China. And the species that can be applied in rice fish culture is such as the crab family species like Kirinids, or the scientific name is Chipirus carpio, like that. And then for the number 4 is about organic matter. Maybe because the in Minapadi or in the rice fish culture is based as farmer can use the there is manure, the fish manure to use to become a fertilizer, biofertilizer. We can decrease the use of chemical matter, like that. Is there Ronald, can you add more? Yes, maybe that's enough. Or anything else?
Okay, I guess there's still one more question. It's from Dui Huangfu. For the first question, it's same like the before. So the next question is, the system is very interesting and is close to the principle of organic production. However, it is also difficult to extend in practice. What is the main limitation of the system? Is there any limited for the system?
Maybe because it is what is it? Agriculture farming is based on the climate situation. Maybe the limitation is climate situation. It is rainfall or in the drought situation. And then because Minapadi combine fish and paddy or rice, it more what is it? We can choose what one is exactly to apply the system like that. And then yes, just maybe water and the climate change, but are related.
Okay, thank you so much, Group 2, for the answer. And now we will move the Q&A session to the Group 4. For Group 4, we have 2 questions so far. And the first question is from Armando. He asked, integrated farming system is a labor-intensive technology as it requires different commodities to grow, and each commodity requires different management practices. Thus, it is time-consuming in the part of the farmers. With these given weaknesses, how can you convince farmers to adopt this technology? Please, Group 4, you can answer the question accordingly.
Hello. This is Victor. Do you hear me?
Yes, Miss Victor, please.
Yes. Okay. So this is Victor from Group 4. Unfortunately, because of the time constraints, we weren't able to finish the presentation. But if you may allow me to share a slide from our presentation, I think it would help answer the questions in the chat.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, so this is actually the part of the case study, or like just an example of the application of agroforestry in a specific setting. So I think, hold on. So I'll just explain it for briefly, just to provide the background. So this is the Integrated Natural Resources and Environmental Management Project, which is a project of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources in the Philippines. So it covers actually 4 project sites, which are 4 major upper river basins in our country, situated in the different islands in the Philippines. So INREMP was designed to strengthen climate resilience of upland mountain communities by addressing unsustainable watershed management and introducing sustainable forest management options, which includes agroforestry and conservation farming. So this project actually ran for 7 years, and it was funded partly by loan and grant from the Asian Development Bank and GEF. So just to highlight some of the best practices of the project. So for each of the upper river basins, there were specific activities that were highlighted as best practices, meaning they have been done and they were presented to the body as projects or practices to be noted. So for CORB or Chico Upper River Basin, it was agroforestry and barangay participatory monitoring and evaluation teams. For the Wahig Inabanga River Basin or the WIRB, it's the participation of women and livelihood enhancement. For Lake Lanao River Basin, they have we have the participation of women as well as the partnerships regarding conflict affected or afflicted areas. And lastly, for Bukidnon Upper River Basin, we have community-based forest protection and community resource mapping. So to answer the question, I think the first question was about labor-intensive technology and requiring different commodities to grow. So um, for this specific project, no, this is actually partly funded by grant and loan. So the goal of this project is actually to engage the communities in order for them to first to have knowledge. So it's knowledge management for them to actually understand how these systems work, not just to lecture them that, okay, this is agroforestry and this is the technologies involved in it, but rather to actually engage them on how to apply them to their actual lives. When we answer the question in terms, when we answer the question of being labor intensive, this project actually also specifically tackles that because in the course of the INREMP, especially in for some of the upper river basins, they actually highlighted practices wherein the household was involved. So basically, farming was introduced or integrated not only as a profession but also as a household activity. So in that way, not only the farmers, well, for most parts, it's usually the men who actually do the farming activities or the farming methods that were being taught to them by the program. But because of the engagement of women in society, they actually have had extra hands, or they actually engage the community, so that the mere problem of being labor intensive was not really much was actually quite solved. So I think we have another question. Does that answer the first one? I'm sorry, from Mr. Amado.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I think we have another one.
Okay, I will try to answer. The next question is from Sally. That's a great question. So the question is about how farmer would like to spend more money to apply this system, or maybe do you guys have any solution, or can apply alternative way so that farmer can apply this system. So in our opinion, this can be anticipated with the availability of plants in the local area. So it's about what plant that we select. So we don't think this will be too much of a problem for farmer to adapt, because like I say earlier, starting introduce you all about potential tree, shrub, and alleyway crops, there are very important to consider, because this will relate to the management outcomes that we will receive. So like there are two outcomes, like best management and poor management. If we choose the great, or we choose the good plan, so we can move to good management. But on the other hand, if we do poor management, like we don't have any information about what the plan we have to select, so the negative effect can occur from the management practice, like competition, root competition, or allelopathy effect. So simply it's about what plan that we select, and we can choose that based on where we live. I think it's for me. It's from me. Any feedback from Sally?
Okay, so basically, the system can be just adjusted based on what native plan we have, and the management is based on what plan we choose. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's clear for me.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Miss Shelley. Can I just add some to that?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so yes, Mr. Idham is right. But to contextualize it in the project that I showed previously, so actually before they engage in the specific agroforestry or alley cropping practices, they are actually also taught in terms of how they actually have to plan. For example, what crops they would plant in what season or what specific duration. So in teaching the farmers not only how to plant but also how to plan what they will plant, I think this system can be solved. And in terms of the spending more money, so yeah, actually they would need capital, of course, to actually employ the practices or the technology. But when we looked into the actual components used in the project, so they assessed first what were present, so what they were working with in the first place. So they used their resources, and then also we have to note that not every practice or not every crop would grow on a certain area. So we have to consider that as well. So I think most of the crops also were locally sourced or produced. So they were, for example, seedlings. They were actually how do you say that? Set up, or they were prepared in terms of the specific region that they actually can grow. So yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Victor, for the addition. It's clear enough for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Miss Ellie, Mr. Ramado, and from group 4. And now we still have one last question. It's from Mr. Jackson from Unmul Indonesia. Allow me to read it for you. The question is, agroforestry in its application as an integrated farming system describe several agroforestry patterns. Can you explain the percentage of agricultural and forestry crops, please, for group 4?
Hello. Yes. Okay. So do you hear me? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So actually, to answer the question, I can provide an answer, but it's specific to the project that I mentioned. So I think it would vary in terms of how much percentage of agriculture versus forest or tree crops that you would use. But for the specific project of INREM, they actually proposed or planned to provide a 70-30 ratio. So that's 70% of fruit trees or perennial permanent trees versus 30% of cash crops and other plant crops that are planted, but they must be practicable. So as I mentioned earlier, it still depends on the nature of crops that they really want to plant, and then the nature of crops that could actually be planted in the specific region or area. So there, I hope that's specific context for the INREM project. So I'm not sure about the practices in other countries, but I hope that is somehow answers your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Victor. That's all for the question to group 2 and group 4. Well, what a great discussion. And thank you for group 2 and group 4 for answering those questions and for the great presentation. Well, now we will end this Q&A session. Thank you so much for all of your attention. We will back to Miss Dia. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Hariva. So I would like to remind you again, guys, that the vote will be closed after the discussions of this panel 3 ends. So you still have around 55 minutes to vote your favorites, okay? And don't forget, for all of you, to fill the attendance link. So all of you in Zoom and also on YouTube, please fill the attendance link. Yeah, Finally, this is the last panel, but not least, of course, but you still, I think that you will not regret waiting for them because this group were very excellent. Group 3 will present a topic of conservations in agriculture, and Group 6 will talk about solving the problem of climate change. Well, please welcome the moderator, Victor.
Okay, hi, good day, everyone. Unfortunately, I can't open the camera because my internet is unstable. But I am asked to moderate for the third panel as well. So, as Sri said, no, they're not last but not the least. We have two more groups to present. So, not quite sure if they have pre-recorded videos, but I was told that the group 3 would present live. So let me hear a response from group 3, or if you are ready to present. Again, I'm reminding everyone that presentation for each group is 15 minutes, and Mr. Yaya will annotate a 5-minute marker to note that if you have that you have 5 minutes only left. For the question and answer, it will follow after both groups have presented, and it's for 25 minutes. And again, Mr. Yaya will annotate a 5 minutes before the time is up. So are we ready for group 3? Members are Tantri, Fui, Shelly, and Nindia.
Yes, we have. Great. Thank you. Let me actually share the screen. All right. Sorry. Oh, not this one. Okay. Oh. This one. Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start from the beginning and the presentation view. Okay. So can we start? Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining our presentation. As written here, you can see we are gonna present half moons, an amazing weapon against climate change. So here are the group members. We have Fui from Malaysia, Shelly and Tantri from Indonesia, and me, Ninja Uba, from Burkina Faso. So here is the outlines of our presentation. So we will give the background surrounding this technology before moving to the procedure how to make the half moons, and to give some practical application of this technology before giving benefit of this. And then we'll move to the limitation of this technology, the sustainability, and before concluding. So let's talk about Burkina Faso and half moons. So first, it's quite interesting to let you know about this country, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a West African country with an area of 274 kilometers square. So it's a Sahelian country. The Sahelian country means just near the desert. In Africa, we have the Sahara Desert. So this country have most of its parts belonging to this climate, the Sahelian climate. So that is why we can see the color even a little bit lighter in the northern part of this country. So as I mentioned before, here we have Burkina Faso in global. We can see we have three type of climates. We have the first one in the extreme northern part, in the middle one, but what we have to retain here to keep in mind is that this country have more than 70% of his part of its area, which actually every year cannot have more than 900 millimeter as rainfall, annual rainfall. So that means it's a quite harsh condition for plant growth, for even forest. So that is why we can see that the desert start moving forward, moving toward the sea. It's a landlocked country, of course, so that is why, and near the desert, that is why also it's a very, very difficult, harsh condition. So we also, because of that, and this also combined to the climate change recently, we come up with degraded soil. All the lands are very degraded, so that is why it's quite difficult to cultivate there, and even the plant, the forest start disappearing day by day. So then I will let my teammate give you why half moons, why this technology, and then we will discuss later. Thank you very much. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Soil degradation in half moon day is quite serious, which also bring the food insecurities in the communities. And also, they will lead to in-migration of the population with move to other areas. And also, they will lead also the deforestation here. And let's go to the next slide. So here, the soil restoration section. The main thing for the soil restoration is manage the runoff, macroporosity restoration, and stabilizing. So the half moon day is able to regenerate the topsoil, which means in the half moon, we will put some organic matters in the bowl there, then the topsoil can be regenerated. And also in the meanwhile, the microbial, the enzyme will working on that. And also the pH level, they will turn above from the acid to the alkaline, to the acid to the almost nature, and which is available for the plant to absorb. And also they can reduce the nutrient deficiency due to the pH levels rising. And let's go to the next slide, please. And let's look at the video here. It's also just a little bit mentioned about the Burkina Faso on about the desert turn to the forest, from the dry land turn to the fertile land. We are not here to promote the Nicosia search engine, but here we are going to get the ideas on how is it working. First, they will dig in the hole, make the seed. Then, during the rain season, they will collect the waters, and a few days, the plant, they will spot up. And after a year, the forest will slowly become. And the communities that can have the food security and also can earn money with their families and also others. We can just skip this part. Since we are not promoting the Nicosia search engine. And let's move to the next slide.
Coming, sorry.
For the objective here, we just want to have the basic ideas on how the half moon technique and conserve the waters and also the soil quality. So next.
Oh,
Next.
yes. Actually, I don't know what's going on. It seems like the internet is not good around here.
Oh, I see.
Sorry.
Let's pass to the next person.
Oh. Fortunately,
yeah, we want actually the half moon that is able to conserve the water by making the hole with some organic metals. Maybe we can just collaborate with any organic metals here to make the whole thing. Let's pass to the next slide. And my members will present on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so as we see here, half moons are semi-open mechanical structure with the shape of a half circle. So this technique is used to collect surface runoff waters in holes excavated in bare and crusted soil with gentle slopes and staggered arrangement. The half moon creation site evaluation should be carried out in advance, including water flow direction during raining. So the land preparation should be carried out during the dry season. As we see here, the area between the half moons are the SN impluvium. The half moon basin will be created around 4 meters diameter with 15 to 20 centimeters deep with a hoe or pick to break the crusted layer on the soil surface and thus enable the collection of runoff water. Excavated earth serve to form ridges around the edge of the half moon. The edge of basin will be piled up to 5 to 10 centimeters with soil or rock. Organic manure will be mixed with the soil in the half moon basin. The targeted crop seeds will be sowed after raining. Next. This is for the practical application of half moon. So basically, half moon technique aims to recover degraded and encrusted land for agriculture, pastoral, or forestry purposes. So in a short way, we can say that half moon technique is kind of the same with reforestation technique. As we see in the picture, most of the area are poor and degraded. It is also already explained previously that more than 70% of the country has an annual rainfall less than 900 millimeters. Next. Here we see the half moon techniques or the reforestation with Senegalia species. On the left side is the half moon one and the right side is the standard plantation. Half moon technique or standard plantation is recommended to the Senegalia species due to the efficiency of half moon. However, due to the limitation of labor intensive, the standard plantation one can be recommended. Next.
And here are the benefits or advantage of the half moon implementation in the Burkina Faso. So first is by the implementation of the half moon, we can collect and conserve water to support the plant growth and development. Since we dig the hole, so we can collect the water from the rainfalls. It minimizes the effect of drought and also water shortage since Burkina Faso has the annual rainfall less than 900 millimeter. And the second one is that the half moon can improve the soil infiltration. So the soil with the good infiltration can utilize and then can reduce the water runoff causes flooding. And the third one is it can improve the soil properties. So when we make the half moon, we also apply the organic matter. So it can improve the soil physical, chemical, and also biological properties. And finally, as we can see in this figure, so this is the example that half moon implementation in the sorghum. So the growth of the sorghum has improved. So plant can receive the enough water and also and then support their growth. Therefore, the implementation of the half moon can improve crop yield for 2 years. And the next, please. And some limitation on the half moon also exists. So the labor intensive means that we need more humans power to make the half moons since the preparation of the system is difficult to mechanize.
But in the future, with the collaboration of the scientists and also engineers, so there is a possibility to create the machine. So we hope so. And the next, it is impossible to control the water since we cannot control the rainfalls. Sometimes the rainfall is very low and sometimes it is very high, so it is difficult to control the water. And the next is the limit plants growth due to flooding. So if you look at the size of the half moon system, so the diameter is 4 meters with a depth 15 to 20 centimeter depth. So when the intensity of the rainfall is high for several days, the system cannot hold a lot of water and some crops cannot survive in this condition. And we can overcome this condition by choosing the plant that is highly tolerant to flooding. Next, please. So, and therefore, from the half moon implementation, we propose 3 sustainable development goals. First is climate action, the second is zero hunger, and the third is no poverty. Since the implementation of the half moon established the sustainable food production, and also provide the basic human need and improve the environments. So we are happy to hear your comments and also your questions. So we will try to answer briefly. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 3, for that wonderful presentation. So, just a reminder from Ms. Arinino, please write your questions along with the name and affiliation in the chat box, and also mention to whom the question will be is addressed. So that's it for our presentations today. No, I'm kidding. So we actually have one more set of one more group for our presentations, and they're last but definitely not the least. So I hope the group 6 is ready before we have our Q&A or question answer session for today. So to the members of group 6 who shall be sharing the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Just give me a minute. Please
Sure, no
allow me to
problem.
share my screen. Give us a minute. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Ms. Sid, yes.
Okay, pa. Okay. Is my screen up?
We can see it now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let me just set my own timer so I can monitor myself. Okay. So we are group 6. We will be presenting climate change perception and adaptation strategies of farmers in selected Asian countries. And these selected Asian countries are based on the countries where the members of group 6 are from. So we have Rifa and Jackson from Indonesia, Regmi from Nepal, G, myself and Tata from the Philippines, and Joan from South Korea. So let's start with the issue with climate change. Oops, sorry. All right. So climate change, as we already know, will bring meteorological changes that can be drastic in nature, and this will affect agricultural climate resources, changes in temperature, precipitation, and sunlight. And one of the most affected sectors of agriculture is the arable sector. So the farming industry will be affected because of biological changes with the blooming and harvesting and caring season, changes in the quality of the products, change in areas suitable for cultivation, and the propagation of blights and pests. And these changes may bring about instability in the economy of farmers. Okay, change in productivity and asset value. Unfortunately, one of the most vulnerable sectors are our smallholder farmers who have limited access to technology and limited access to resources. So yet efforts to support farmer adaptations are hindered by the lack of information on how they are experiencing and responding to climate change. So, but how are farmers responding to climate change? How are their perceptions being developed? So there are internal and external factors that can affect on how they perceive climate change and its impacts on their in their livelihood. So for instance, the effects of climate change in average temperature and average rainfall on a daily basis, the metrics are observed over long periods of time. And for some farmers, they are less convincing and unreliable. So for them to understand these concepts, they would need to have information from external sources, like climate extension services. Whereas the more drastic changes in the the meteorological conditions, like interannual variations in temperature and rainfall, prolonged summers, or unpredictable periods of winter, and then occurrence of extreme events like floods and droughts. So these are observed over the short term, more erratic, and with these cases, farmers are more concerned. So because of that, farmers have more personal experiences. Depending on how much they are experiencing these variations and how much data they are getting from external sources shape their perception on climate change. And with the knowledge of climate change, they may start considering adaptation strategies in order to keep up with this changing climate, or with this changing world. But of course, the considerations for adaptation is dependent on the incentives to adapt. How much will they earn? How much will this benefit them if they adopt these strategies? And what are the risks with adapting? Okay. Other factors affecting the adaptive capacity and their choice of adaptation are, of course, the socioeconomic factors like the age of the farmer, the gender of the household head, household size, education level of farmer, off-farm sources of income. And other factors like technological factors, what is the farm size, what are the tenure rights, what are the soil characteristics, distance of farm from market and farmhouse, access to irrigation and facility. So based on this framework, we would like to look into what are the factors affecting the perception of farmers in the countries mentioned before. So we'll be comparing, we compared the levels of awareness and perception of farmers on climate change in various parts of Asia, determine their indicators of climate change, how were they able to say that there is climate change, evaluate the capacity of Asian farmers to adapt to climate change, and to identify the adaptation practices of farmers based on their capacity. The output of this presentation can provide insights into the causes and composition of adaptive capacity for households, which later on can be used for formulating policies that would support, initiate, improve, or preserve effective climate change adaptation systems. For our methodology, we performed a literature review from existing studies in Indonesia, Nepal, Philippines, and South Korea. In the interest of time, I wouldn't go through. These are just some farmer and agriculture demographics on how many farmers are affected by this climate change impacts in each country, and how much the share of the agricultural sector in each nation's GDP. So first, let's start with the farmers' level of awareness and their perception of climate change. So we compared for each country, and good enough, we found out that farmers have high level of awareness and high level of knowledge on climate change concepts, causes, and impacts in all 4 countries. Okay. But amongst those level of awareness, perhaps one of the least understood concept, particularly in the case of farmers from the Philippines are the anthropogenic activities that could increase greenhouse emissions. So they know climate change is happening, but they may not be aware how human activities can affect or can exacerbate the effects of climate change. Variation in level of awareness is dependent, of course, on the geographical location and resources. How are they able to access information? If they are in an area where local governments and national and non-government organizations pull together their resources to put into priority projects for education of farmers, then they may have higher variations, higher levels of awareness. Another important factor, as pointed out by one of the studies, is the importance of affiliation in social groups, like joining farmers union or farmers cooperatives. So in that way, farmers are able to exchange information within themselves. But still, high level of awareness is not 100% level of awareness. There is a small subset that are still quite hesitant to believe that there is climate change happening and it affects the sector. In the case of Nepal, there are farmers who attribute changes in crop varieties and cropping patterns mainly to technological and market-related factors. Like they're thinking this is a business scheme of the big farming institutions to put variations in crop varieties. But still, whether you have a high-income country like South Korea or low-income country like the Philippines, irrespective of the age and the education of the farmers, you have a generally high level of awareness. Now, how are farmers being aware of this, and aside from the external factors? So based on their experiences, like in the case of Nepal, farmers observed increase in temperature, decrease in precipitation, increase in climate-induced diseases and pests for agricultural crops, as mentioned in the introduction before. And another very interesting and I think a very sophisticated way of describing the changes that they are experiencing comes from Indonesia, in which farmers perceived 3 types of natural events due to climate change at the beginning of the growing season. So these are not normal for them, like very erratic rainfall patterns, increase in air temperature, and increase in air temperature. The rainy season seemed to be unusually early for them, and then followed by a very dry week. Okay. In terms of extreme weather conditions or extreme weather events, they notice that the sun is very hot. So in a very simplistic way, they can describe what they are experiencing. And we can connect that to what science is, what does the data is saying to us. Waves and hot air temperatures, and then drought. Now, so based on their perception, does it translate to their ability to adapt? So let's define first what is adaptive capacity. This is the capacity of systems, institutions, humans, and other organisms to adjust to potential damage, to take advantage of opportunities, or to respond to consequences. A study from the Fiesta and Rapera in the Philippines had farmers ranked which are the most important adaptive capacity indicators for them, and they identify that financial resources are the most important. Like the primary economic constraints for farmers to not be able to adopt enough is they find some of the strategies quite expensive. Higher financial resources make possible the acquisition of physical and information resources vital in carrying out adaptations. And again, there are uncertain risks in economic returns specifically on the adaptation investment. Other constraints Okay, when it comes to access to information, physical resources, and human resources, some farmers, they find the strategies laborious. Most renewable technology may need an expert to operate the technology. Okay, but more educated farmers would have better access to information and technologies and are better able to exploit resources in adapting to climate change. And farmers with former farming experience are expected to adapt better to climate change. But the important question is, does adaptive capacity really translate to adaptation? If having a high adaptive capacity, does that mean that you have high levels of adaptation, or are you more apt to adapt? Surprisingly enough, regardless of your adaptive capacity, majority of the farmers adapt to climate change. A study from the Philippines found that whether you have low, moderate, or adaptive capacities, farmers are now more and more inclined to adapt the strategies to mitigate the impacts of climate change, because they are all in the belief that of survival of the fittest. So you need to survive, you need to adapt. Okay? But of course, if you have higher levels of capacity, then you have more people who are adapters to climate change. As in the case of Korea, you have 70% farmers who have been reported adapting to climate change. Now, considering those, better adaptive capacity translate to more strategies, these affect the choices of adaptation practices. Those with high adaptive capacity, they are able to employ different adaptation techniques. They are not just basing on just one technique to cope with varying climate stresses being experienced. Whereas for those with low adaptive capacities, due to the lack of resources, they either respond only to the risk that affects them the most or employ the cheapest adaptation measure. But still, as I mentioned, regardless of whether you have low or high adaptive capacities, farmers will try to adapt. So for those with low adaptive capacity, they will choose the simplest strategies, but the reactions are usually short term. This is for the interest of time. I will not be going through this one by one. It's a tactical position that we are the last group. Most of the previous groups have already discussed some of the coping mechanisms that are being employed by farmers. So in conclusion, we have these 5 points. Farmers in Indonesia, Nepal, and Philippines have high level of awareness and causes of impacts of climate change. I have a few seconds left. These are my references. And in behalf of my group mates, my name is Sid. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 6. So right on the dot. So that's it, I guess, for our two presenters for this panel. So Group 3 and Group 6. I believe we have more questions in the chat. So I was able to take note of the first few questions. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay, so if you have more questions, just please put them in the chat box following our format. But we have some questions already for Group 3. This is from Raja Bonar Lubis from Universitas Srivijaya. Can half moon be applied on gentle slopes to limit erosion and encourage infiltration? If so, what are the criteria that make it different from terrace? So anyone from Group 3, could you please respond?
Yes, thank you, Raja, for the question. So in here, so I think it's possible that the half moon, so this, as you mentioned in here, like can half moon be applied on gentle slopes to limit erosion? Yes, it can. And also the half moon also can encourage the infiltration. So what are the criteria that make it different from terrace? So because in the half moon, we need to dig a specific hole. So it means it's little bit different with the terrace. So the area for the plant growth is also limited. So it's a little bit different from the terrace. I think like that. So maybe the other my groups, do you have any addition to my answer?
Yes. Actually, if it was possible, I would share my screen again to show one picture. But if not possible, so I can just answer like this.
Oh, okay. I can stop share so you can present.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's share the screen. Okay. Yes. So in one of the picture here, I think we can see clearly. Especially the picture on the bottom, on the right side, we can see here how it can be applied in other way. So it doesn't mean we need, it's compulsory to dig, or the technology actually just asks to make a shape, to make a structure, to collect the water, and also, if possible, to add nutrients like compost, to add organic matter for plant to be able to grow in this small area. So as you can see here, it's possible to do it anywhere and anyway. So it's not compulsory to dig. We can even do it with just stones as it's done here. So I don't know if any other group member have something to add. So if not, we can move to the other questions.
Okay, so if there is no follow-up question, I'll proceed to share my screen again. Okay, so we move on to the next one. It's from Dr. Arini. Informative presentation group 3, can the method be applied in karst area? Since this area is usually has no or very limited surface water source. Example of a karst area is the southern area of Gunung Kidul in Yogyakarta. Yes, group 3.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arini, for the question. So I'm sorry I cannot turn on my camera. So since the Nindya Sang already mentioned before that this half moon implementation, we can just apply in anywhere and also anyway. So I think it's possible to apply in the karst soil. But in here, because karst soil is very hard soil, so we need like a lot of manpower to dig. So the farmer need to spend a lot of money to pay the labor.
So I think she answered correctly. Actually, we can apply it everywhere. So the only thing we need is to have a slope, a gentle slope. Then we can just dig the half moons to collect the water and also the organic matter that will be decomposed, and then we can get like a very good soil for plant. So we can apply it everywhere. It's not like something designed for a given area or a given climate. Not at all. It's been designed for fighting again the climate change and especially erosion, soil erosion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for group 3 for the response. We have another question from Luluk, also from UGM. As in 1 year, there are 12 months. So which months Burkina Faso is actually applied by the farmers?
Okay, thank you for the question. So as mentioned before, the land preparation of half moon is usually done in the dry season. So in the rainy season, the water can be collected. So in between 12 months, the dry season is usually around November to April. So the land preparation is done by November to April, and the rainy season is on between April and October. So the water can be collected around April to October. Maybe someone want to add?
Yes, has from this country, I think she just said the right thing. We all has all the tropical countries. We have two type of climate. Yes, this of season, the dry one and the wet one. So the dry one run from November to May, middle May, and the rainy season from middle May to October again. So for the soil preparation and the half moon digging, it's always done in the dry season. That means from November you can already start it, and then adding the compost and the organic matter maybe 1 or 2 months before the rainy season coming. So that is what is done in Burkina Faso.
Okay, so that's for our third question. I believe we still have another one. Let me. Okay, so this is another question for group 3. Well, there are two questions from Dui Hongbu. The first question is, how does the half moon growing technology affect soil erosion and dust emissions in the dry season? And then the second is, what is the potential for application of the technology in other dryland areas?
Okay, so for this question, I would say that first, even after digging and not yet showing something, we can still see already the effect. The effect is what? The half moon will start collecting all the organic matter running because of the wind. So the half moon will collect some organic matters. So that also is one of the good points to grow crops later. But also after growing, we have weeds that will actually be grown in this small area. Even after harvesting, we still have the weeds that can help to collect either the dust and also the other organic matter running due to the wind. So here, even in dry season, we can say that half moon still have its importance. So for the potential application in other area, as I mentioned before, you saw in the image there, half moon is not designed for a specific area. So they have the last image we presented just few minutes ago actually is not in Burkina Faso. This is even in Europe. They try it there also just to fight against the deforestation. So it's a good way to reforest an area. So any area who is now facing deforestation or the desert coming, we can use this technology to fight again, and especially the climate change. So if any other member of the group have something to add, he can go ahead. Thank you.
I think enough, India. How about Dewey? Dewey.
Okay, so there are no more responses from group 3. So if not, can we proceed to the next set of questions? Okay. I believe they are for group 6. So these are questions for group 6. So first we have from again Dr. Arini. Interesting presentation, group 6. May I know the source of data for the farmers' perception about climate change from all countries of the study? So group 6.
Okay, thank you for your interest, Dr. Arini. Mr. Moderator, may I share my screen?
Sure. Hold on.
Oops, start broadcast. So our group we worked through on a shared document, and since we are from 4 different countries, we have tabulated information from each of the country. Again, 3 members are assigned for the Philippines. In our case, we had perception studies from Gilangil et al. And also from I say that. Where is that other one? De Fiesta and Rapera. So they had similar results in which they found that farmers have high levels of awareness and knowledge. Same thing for one is for Nepal. I think our group mate Me has also submitted more than one study that had similar result. So 95% respondents from Sujakshu et al. And then from Devkota, they have 81% respondents who recognize climate change. And for South Korea, again, most of the farmers at 94%. Joan did not put here the reference, but I think it's in a separate document that we shared. It's from, I think it's this one. This is from Kim Chung-shil et al. Yeah. I don't know. Does that satisfy your question, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Okay. Thank you, group 6 and Dr. Arini. We have another question. Present it now. So the next one is from Raja from UNSRI. So there are so many strategic options in your presentations. That's great. Is it possible to make policies on agricultural risks to adapt to climate change so that we can strategize, so that we can make the best choices? Do you have an opinion on what kind of climate risk policy strategy is good so that it can be implemented?
Okay, let me just read it. There. Is it possible to make policies on agricultural risks? Yes, I believe most national governments, their departments of agriculture are already formulating strategies so that their respective farmers, because as mentioned previously, the adaptations to climate change is very much dependent on the geolocation and the prevailing conditions therein. So the choices for adaptation should be suitable for the location. And do you have an opinion on what kind of climate risk policy strategy is good so that it can be implemented? Again, I guess I'll have the same answer as the previous one. It's really dependent on which area you are from and how the government will be able to sustain the programs. I think the United Nations and FAO are have been coming up with with general strategies depending on the income of the country. So there's a different strategy for low income countries in temperate regions, low income countries in tropical regions, things like that. So you have to suit the strategy on the area where you are.
Okay, does that answer the question, Raja? Okay, yes. Okay, so
Thank you,
are
Asel.
there, sorry, yes. Are there any more questions from the chat? If not, I guess that would conclude our third panel for today's series of discussions. Yes, and that's a very interesting set of speakers and a discussion for the third panel. And actually, I think also that concludes the presentations and Q&A sessions for all our groups today. So once again, I'm Victor and the moderator for panel 3. Thank you to UGM for allowing me to be a moderator. And I would like to give the screen and the audio back to Miss Fitri.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Victor. And I would like to thanks to you, Victor, for the really great moderating, and also for all of the groups from group 2 to group 6. Your presentations were really nice. Good job. Okay, that's all the final presentations, and thank you once again for all groups. And I'm sure that Mrs. Endang, Miss Arini, and also Miss Widi are very confused to decide who will become the best of the best presenter. And I hope it cannot only give us insights, but also build our awareness about these topics. Now, but the bad news is that, unfortunately, the time for voting is end. And we will see the best and favorite presenters after taking break. Well, the break times is 15 minutes, and we will be back again to the wording seasons, still in the Zoom and also YouTube Media Faberta 15 minutes later. Okay, see you guys. You are allowed to leave or just stay here, but you can mute yourself and take your video off. Hi everyone. Welcome back again to the announcement sessions in the Zoom. So be ready for students. There will be the best presenters selected by the judges and also the favorite presenter chosen by the audiences, of course. And you will meet one of the judges. Who is he? Please wait. Don't be curious. I will give the sessions to Miss Tere because she will lead the sessions. But before that, I want one of you, okay, one of you, the participants, maybe I can choose one of you to share, some suggestions or recommendations for us during the last meetings, or your expressions, your feeling during this final presentation. Maybe on this short, only 30 seconds. Wang Jingjing from UPM, are you here? Wang Jingjing, are you here with me? Stay with me. Okay. Still no response? Well, I will choose one student, okay, once more. Jackson. Are you here, Jackson? I think Jackson is not here. Okay, I will choose one student. I hope that this is my last choice. Here I found from group 4, he is very strong. We can look at him in this video that it's not like that he is a single fighter, but he can accumulate all of the inspirations from the group members and then explain it briefly, and it's very good. He is Muhammad Idam Khalid. Are you here? You're not here?
Yeah, Miss.
Yes, please. 30 seconds.
Okay. Maybe I would like to thank you to the opportunity that I get to join this short course. I get a lot of experience and new knowledge from the lecture, and then it challenged me to improve my English skill. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Muhammad Idam. Well, now I'm sure that you are waiting for the announcement, so that's why let me invite Miss Tere.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitri, for the time. Good afternoon to student and college. My name is Teresa, and I would like to announce the winner of award. The award ceremonies are the celebration of talent, success, and achievement. It also celebrates hard work, in turn making people feel appreciated and well respected. I would like to announce several categories of award for this afternoon. The third best presenter goes to Group 2. Mr. Ronald John Relon Lamano as a representative of Group 2. And then the second best presenter goes to Group 6. Siddhartha Belovale as a representation of Group 6, please. And then this is the first best presenter goes to Group 3. Oban India as a representative of group 3, please.
Yes.
Then, the next category is favorite presenter. And the winner goes to group 5. Okay, for Andrew McPenty as a representative of group 5, please. For the winner, please open the camera and click the raise hand on Zoom. And I will inviting Dr. Ani as one of judge to give a short remark to the winner.
Okay, thank you, Tere. Yeah. So, dear all students, first I would like to say congratulations, of course, for the winners. But for us, for the judges, you are all our winners. You know, it's very hard to decide because we give you the grade based on the evaluation from the criteria that Dr. Arini has mentioned, has explained in the beginning. And from those criteria, it's very hard to differentiate between one group and another because you all did a very great job. Yeah, congratulations. But yeah, we have to choose the best from all of the best students, the participants in this summer course. So it's based on the grades. So we decided the highest is the group. Oh, sorry, I forgot the. Okay, I will check. I hope I didn't mention the mistake. So the highest is group 3, and then the second place is group 6, and the third place is group 2. And but actually, you all did very good job. So congratulations to all, and also the favorite winner. Congratulations. So keep doing the good job, and I'm so proud of you. So in the situation that you just know each other, and in the pandemic situation, so you have to work online. It's very good job. Yeah. Congratulations once more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ani, for the short remarks. Then please, for all the group winners, please open your camera and we will take a photo.
Maybe take photo one by one, like for example, Nindya is from group 3, I believe. And so like when this congratulation for first best is for group 3, so all of group 3 is opening the camera. What about that?
Okay, so per group, yeah?
Oh, we can start from the third place.
Okay. Start for the third best presenter. Group 2, please open your camera. Are you guys already open your camera? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. The next one, the second best presenter, group 6, please open your camera. Okay, group 6, please raise your hand on Zoom and open your camera. Okay, we will take a photo for the group 6. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the first best presenter goes to group 3. Please, group 3, raise your hand on Zoom and we will take a photo. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you for the group 3. Then for the category of the best presenter goes to group 5. Please, group 5, raise your hand on Zoom and open your camera. Okay. Okay, group 5, please raise your hand on Zoom. Please click your raise hand on Zoom. One, 2, 3. Okay, thank you all for the photo session. And then that's all for the awarding season. And I would like to say congratulations to all the winners. And then let's continue to the next session. Mrs. Fitri, the floor is yours.
Well, congratulations for the best presenters and favorite presenters. Okay, so actually we will have announcement from the chairman of this sc-soba 2021, that is Miss Arini. Okay, Miss Arini, the time is
Okay.
yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a 30 seconds announcement. So some of you may wonder why that it's only Nindya's name that is written on the congratulation page. So don't worry, for all of the group members, I forgot the number, group 2, group 5, group 6, and group 3. Okay. All of you, each of you will receive a certificate of award as first, second, third best presenter and favorite presenter under your name next week. We are still in the process of doing the certificate. Besides that, all of the certificate of participation and the credit transfer statement will be also sent next week by Friday, August 27. So in that case, in terms of the credit transfer statement, we need the last evaluation from you, peer and course evaluations, as have I mentioned at our first meeting. So the peer evaluation is for you to grade and give score to all of your teammates in your group. So for example, if you are there are 4 students in one group, so you will give a score in terms of contribution and the other for your other 3 teammates. And there are only 2 questions about course evaluation. So I will send the link after this on WhatsApp group. Please, if possible, no, we would like to politely ask you, not only if possible, but we would like to politely ask you to be done with that, hopefully by Monday or by Tuesday next week, so we can send you the certificate of participation and the credit transfer statement along with, we don't have a official score or grade here, but within the credit transfer statement, there will be a performance evaluation of your performance, something like that. So yes, please do so. I will make sure to have the announcement right after this on WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Fitri, and congratulations to all of you, not only to the winners, but to all of you for your hard work, your active participation. This has been fun, even though this is virtual. I believe that if we are meeting in person, it will be much more fun, way more fun, but the situation is not, it's impossible for us. So possibly you may join us again next year for the next sc-soba 2022. Okay, thank you, Miss Fitri. That's all. Sorry, it's exceeding 30 seconds.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Arina, for the announcement. So don't worry, guys. So we will also have the best participants, right? But it will not be announced today. So the instructors and also the assistants will inform you the result later on. So please keep paying attention to our WhatsApp group. Okay. Finally, we come to the end of the virtual summer course Smart Eco Bioproduction Agriculture 2021. So thank you very much for your participations and attendance as well. As the name of the committee, we apologize if this in this summer course is not perfect. And to close these final presentations, let's open our video to take a photo together. And the host will take over after this. Okay, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Miss Fitri. Then please open your camera and we will take a photo together. Okay, for those who don't open your camera, please open your camera now because we will take a photo together. Okay, let's first photo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And the second one, please. One, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you for your participation, and I hope we can meet in another time. Thank you and see you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good.
Have a good day.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Terima
Sama-sama
kasih Bu
semuanya. Selamat ya.
Enda.